Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I am going to be doing my TBR. I do want to say I do apologize for not uploading in October, except for like one time. I had full intentions of actually filming, editing, and uploading in October, but then I had some personal stuff kind of happen like right after I uploaded the first one. And even that first video didn't go up when I wanted it to go up because I had a lot of issues. But here I am back, and we are going to be doing our TBR for November, which is so crazy. But anywho, let's go ahead and get into my TBR. Go through and take out most of the titles because I have an entire jar. This is all book titles right here. And I have so many book titles that I decided to go ahead and only I drew 5 random ones and I put them in here, but otherwise these are all prompts. I will say if I only have one book that I will not be reading if I get it, and you can't see it. Yeah, you can. It's Crescent City. I haven't read Crescent City yet, and I'm actually waiting on my sister-in-law to read Crescent City. If I get the prompt where it says over 500 pages, I only have 2 books for that option, so we'll see. But there might be some where I might withdraw, or I might have to draw again, especially if it aims to where I can only pick Crescent City, because I'm not reading that until she picks it up. She is towards the end of Throne of Glass, and I told her I was going to buddy read with her on Crescent City. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So, I already know what this is. No, I don't. So I got a book title. It's For the Wolf. So for our first prompt, or for the first draw, I got For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. I don't know what this is about. I just know this is a Little Red Riding Hood re-imaging, I believe, and it is a fantasy, but I don't know much about it at all, and there's not much on the back. Anyway, it seems like one of those fantasies where the main character grows up thinking one thing and about somebody, and they end up being a completely opposite kind of thing. And I don't know, this has been on my TBR for a while. There is actually a second book in this series, I believe. I want to say there's a second one. I can't promise I'm going to read it or pick it up, but this might be the month that I actually do pick this up, because I feel like November is going to be the month where I read a lot of fantasy. I already read a lot of fantasy, but I got quite a bit of fantasy on my shelf, so it might be the month where I pick up quite a bit of them. Anyway, on to book 2. So I got part of a series. I've been joined by my cat Penelope. She helped me pick. So for the part of a series, I decided to go with Flawless. This is part of the Chestnut Spring series. I have been very intrigued. I didn't know if I wanted to do this one or Indigo Ridge, because they've both been kind of calling me, and this is a very beloved series, and so I'm like, I'm ready to dive into it. This is a small town cowboy romance, and that's all I really know about it. So that's gonna be book 2. Next prompt. She is the happiest cat ever. With the one-word title. For the one-word title prompt, I decided to go ahead and do Cross by Emily McIntyre. This is the only one in the Never After series I have not read. This is the only one I haven't really been too interested in, but she does have another one that comes out. She has one coming out in November, and I know that I'm going to probably pick it up, and they're not connected like at all. Like, they are standalones, but I feel like I want to have the rest of them read before I read her 6th one. I think I'm gonna knock this one out. I do believe this one is beloved. Hopefully I like this one. I'm pretty sure a lot of people like this one. This one is a Hunchback of the Notre Dame retelling. Is that? I always get the Disney movie wrong. I think that's what it's called. If it's not, I'll put it on the screen. But it's a reimaging of that one. And these books essentially are like Disney re-imagings where the villain gets the girl versus the hero, and the hero ends up being more of the villain in these stories, which I actually really enjoy. I didn't think I would enjoy them as much, but once I read Scarred and Hooked, I kind of got, hooked, and I just binged the series, like all the books, except for this one. And I've had this one on my TBR for the longest. This is the only one I actually have that I actually own. I don't have the other ones, and I've read all the other ones, so I think it's time for me to go ahead and pick this one up. Next, to put on. Okay, a book that has been on your TBR for over a year. All right, so I decided to go. This isn't on my TBR shelf. I've had it on my TBR for a while, and I didn't know if I was actually ever going to get to it, because it is one of those TikTok books that are very loved, and I got it because of TikTok. So I don't know if it's going to be something that I personally really like. I have another one right here. It's where the card has things. I've had that one on there for over a year as well. I've been so scared to pick these books up because of TikTok, and I don't know if I'm actually going to get into them. But I decided to go with The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I know everybody loves this book, and I think this is more of a woman's fiction, and I'm not really into that, but maybe I am and I don't know it. It's time for me to go ahead and pick it up and see if I love it as much as everybody else. I don't know a lick about it, but I feel like maybe I'll actually really enjoy it if I do decide, like if I do actually truly pick it up this month. I never mentioned how many prompts I'm going to do. I'm going to do 8 prompts. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you guys. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video. I just now realized I didn't tell you how many I was going to do. I'm doing 8. This is number 4. We're going to do this one this month, and we're going to see if I like it. I'm hoping I do. I hope I do pick it up. I have a bad habit of not reading some of the books on my TBR because I'm very much a mood reader, which is part of the reason why I'm trying to do a big variety, because I don't know what I'm going to get into this month. I do know I have one book that is going to automatically, that's coming out this month, that I will definitely be reading, but it's a shorter book, so I should be okay. So I typically read 8 to 11 books a month. It just really depends on my reading mood. Anyway, let's go to prompt number 5. So, a book with a beautiful cover. So for the beautiful cover prompt, I decided to go with The Spell Shop. This came out recently, and I feel like it took everybody by storm. I actually saw somebody on, I want to say TikTok. I don't get on TikTok very often, but when I do and I get some book recommendations, I do believe that there are some good recommendations. But it was either TikTok, it may have been Instagram. I usually am on Instagram more than I am on TikToks. I saw somebody recommend this. They said they saw it, they instantly went and bought it, and they loved it. I did the same thing. I instantly went and bought it because they said it is a cozy cottagecore fantasy. And I said I'm in. So I've been waiting to actually pick this up because I'm like, I want cozy months, and I feel like cozy months are going to be more wintry for me. That's my vibe. I feel like winter is a time where you get really cozy in front of a fire, if you have a fireplace, but in front of a fire, under a bunch of blankets, cozied up, just reading. So this, I feel like, is the perfect time to pick this up. I don't know anything really about it other than it's a cozy cottagecore fantasy, and I do know that there is, I want to say, a plant. I think it's a plant, and I don't know, I think it talks. I think, maybe. I thought I heard somebody say that it talks, I'm not sure. So that is book number 5. So we got 3 more prompts. Okay. Next one. Where the crawdads sing. I did mention this book earlier, and I said it had been on my TBR for a long time because of TikTok. When I got these, this one and The 7 Husbands, the reason why I never really picked them up is because I ended up not reading a whole lot after that, because when I got these, I was really into reading. And then I stopped because I moved down here to Alabama. I used to live in Ohio, and then I moved here to Alabama. And I had a lot of stuff happen to where I actually didn't read for a good year. And so I didn't fall back into reading until like mid last year, so about June or July of last year. So I never got around to this one, as well as The 7 Husbands. I think this is more of a fictional type book, I think, like a romance fiction type of book. I'm not sure. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm probably wrong. I have no idea what this book is about. I got it because of TikTok. I'm actually really interested by it. I just never got around to picking it up, and it's terrified me. So I guess maybe this is the month to branch out and see if I like it, and it's time to pick it up. That's book number 6, so let's go ahead and do my next one. I should have just stopped right there at 6 because I do have other books that I'm planning on reading, but like I said, I typically read from 8 to 11 books a month, so I got 2. I just said earlier that if I got this one, I only have 2 books. It's the book with over 500 pages. Hang on, let me see if I have another book that's over 500 pages. If not, I'm doing a redraw because I am not picking, I don't feel for the ones that I have that are over 500 pages. I'm not feeling those books right now, and I know I'm not gonna pick them up. They'll just sit on my TBR. I don't have a book that I am interested in for over 500 pages. I should have took this one out, so we're going to do a redraw for this one. All right, next prompt. A book you haven't heard many reviews about, and there's quite a few up there that I actually haven't heard many reviews about. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and do Heartless. This is by Marissa Meyer. I haven't heard anything about this book or the series. There's actually quite a few other ones in the series. These are all inspired by Disney, I think. This one is an Alice in the Wonderland. I want to say it's a re-imaging. I'm pretty sure it's re-imaging. This has been on my shelf for a little while. I don't know how long it's been, but I saw it recommended, and I saw it was like Alice in the Wonderland based, and I was like, sign me up, and that's all it really took. So I don't know what it's about other than that. I do believe it's like the Queen of Hearts. I think this is about the Queen of Hearts. The looks of the back, it looks like she's supposed to receive a king's marriage proposal, but then she meets a mystery person, and she feels really attracted to them, where she doesn't feel attracted to the king, and she doesn't really care about the king. So it looks like she enters into a secret relationship with this mystery guy, and she's determined to choose her own destiny, not the destiny that was made for her. And this is the last prompt, so I'm gonna try and do a good mix. All right, I'm not ready for this book, but God Killer. I'm not ready for this book, but this is more of a higher, to me it's like a higher fantasy. So you have your fantasy that's pretty easy and digestible, like ACOTAR. And then you got fantasy that's a little bit more complex and stuff, like Throne of Glass. And then you got the high fantasy that is probably going to be above my brain power. That's what I get from this. I'm pretty sure it's not like that, but that's, to me, I consider this as like a higher fantasy. But I do know that this is like, I think this is a lady that goes around killing gods or something. And there is more in the series. I heard what it was about like a long time ago. Do not remember what it's about, but I do know, like, when I heard what it was about, I was like, that sounds so interesting. But anyway, yeah, so it looks like when she was a child, her family was murdered by a fire god, which is what makes her, when she grows up, makes her want to kill him or whatever. And that's literally kind of all I see. I don't know if there's a romance with this or not. I don't know if there's a romance in this. I don't think it is. I think it's just straight fantasy. But I'm very intrigued. I don't know, there's a dual POV, so I think there might be. But it's a short book, so I don't know. I'm gonna try and read it this month. But I can't promise that I will. This is my TBR for the month of November. We got quite a few. We got quite a few fantasy. We got some romance. I think this one, like I said, they think this one's a romance. And then we got, I think this one's like a woman's fiction. We got one thing of dark romance, and then we got some cozy stuff, but a lot of fantasy in here, which is what I kind of expected. Anyway, that is my TBR for the month of November. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in my next video, which should be my October wrap up. That should be the next video out, so I'll see you guys later.